Actually, I would love to understand how you got into the space, Finn. So do you want to get started on that?
Oh yeah, sure, I can. All right. So basically, my first contact with crypto was when I was like 14 or something. Um, and I read about Vitalik, our Lord and Savior, the Ethereum founder, in some computer magazine. And at that time, I did not really understand anything at all, but I just understood that it will be something like from the people, for the people, some consensus stuff. I really did not understand, but this like got my attention. Afterwards, I kind of lost sight a bit, and until like 17 or so, when I started, when I heard about Bitcoin. I mean, I heard about it before, but never really got into it. But when I understood that this is like an avant-garde against the traditional finance system, I was all for it. Um, and I basically really started my crypto journey with a big, yeah, fuck up basically, because I was going to buy Ethereum, Ether, at like $8 per token. But my bank, and this is one part why I'm going bankless, to be honest, but my bank said like, yeah, you don't have online payment active yet, and it takes a week to do all this, and you have to go here and there. And I just literally like gave up. Um, but later, when all the hype came to media first time, 2017, I thought like, no, I have to get back in, and really just did my second, yeah, fuck up by buying $100 of Bitcoin and paying $50 transaction fee for transferring it to my wallet. So what I'm trying to say is basically, however you are starting to get in the space, it really doesn't matter. Just stick with it, learn, and get hooked, and you can like mess up big time. At the beginning, it doesn't matter. Once you like got the overview, you will how they, I mean, they say it so nicely, and you will make it all back in one trade, most probably. So yeah, this is how I got started. Basically, it was very stony way. All right, I see that Tarusha is trying to reconnect again.
Are you guys able to hear me now?
Oh, actually, she's here. Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, lovely! I can hear you finally.
Loud
So
and clear.
I think I'm. Hi. I'm really sorry, guys. There must be some network issue with mine.
No problem.
right.
Super glad that you're here. I think I'll let you and Finn take the stage. Happy to have both of you here, and I'm going to go in the background and enjoy the conversation.
All
Sounds
right.
good.
Thank you so much,
Please go ahead,
Kriti.
Ben. Yeah, I'm really sorry for interrupting your chain of thought.
Yeah. We were about talking on how we got started. Kriti gave a short introduction about you, but maybe you want to introduce yourself real quick once again, if you like. Tarusha, can you hear me? Do you want to introduce yourself very briefly once again? Oh, I hope it's not her connection. I'm waiting for another second there. Can someone confirm maybe that it's not only me who cannot hear her?
No, I can hear you now. Can you hear me now?
Ah, yeah, awesome. Yes, perfect.
All right. Okay. Yeah. So, just for a brief intro and a quick intro, so that you can go back to what you were saying. I've been a tech entrepreneur for nearly 12 years now. I got into the blockchain and crypto space in 2012. Basically, we were running a data center startup, and we started thinking how we could perhaps, tweak some of these machines and mine Ethereum. And mine Ethereum we did, and that is essentially how I, got introduced to crypto and to blockchain. In around 2015, I co-founded one of the first Ethereum exchanges of India. It was called Ethics. So that was like the first crypto venture. And currently, I'm working on Open DeFi and UniFarm. These are dApps basically. UniFarm is a group farming and staking protocol, and Open DeFi is basically real world assets and the DeFi space. We're kind of bridging that gap. So that is the long and short, a very quick introduction of what I do. I also have a podcast in this space where I interview blockchain founders and they talk about their journey. So yeah, I've been around for a while and seen quite a few cycles. Very excited about this space because there's always so much to learn.
Amazing, really awesome. I think we have, and I think you're the expert for this. Um, I think we have many listeners from India,
Mhm.
and yeah, how would you say has the landscape evolved in India, like the crypto landscape and everything, and maybe like globally or whatever your thoughts are on this?
So globally, obviously, a lot of countries are moving towards regulating crypto and creating some kind of a policy framework. The idea there is basically to protect the end user, the retail user. In India, also, initially the response by the government was very, very detrimental to my business. So as I spoke about that, we had like a exchange in 2015, and in 2017 the central bank kind of came up with an almost overnight order which prohibited the banks in the country to have any association with entities that are providing or dealing in crypto. Because it was an exchange and not really a P2P one, we could not really continue giving our services because we didn't have any banking support. So initially, because of this particular order and the way the kind of mainstream media, they did not have much knowledge about it, but they wanted, they just sort of understood this as ban of crypto, which is really stupid because you can't really ban crypto. But that was what kind was that was fed to the people in general. And there was like this notion that kind of came in where people thought that okay, crypto has been banned by the government. And that created obviously a lot of FUD in the community within India. And it also saw a lot of crypto entrepreneurs either giving up on their dreams or thinking about moving abroad. uh, right now we are as an industry hopeful as to what the government is going to table. So what they have said in recently is that the present state of the bill that they have is very different from the one that they had initially. And they've taken into consideration what the industry really wants, and they've had representatives from the industry talk to them and make them understand. So as an industry we are very, very hopeful that something good will hopefully come out of this. So there's a saying, right, that if you ask your government to regulate your business, regulate they will. So I think in India it was more like a Hobson's choice. The entrepreneurs did want regulation so as to dispel this kind of FUD around the industry and the kind of wrong notions around crypto. But I do believe that policy is an iterative process, and there's going to be some back and forth. But as of now, I believe that the outlook is a little hopeful, for the people who've been around. At least for the retail user, I believe that the retail user has come into crypto, at least in the subcontinent, because they kind of buy into these narratives and this FOMO created by media. And they don't fully understand the entire how cyclical this market is and how volatility can affect their funds, etc. They're getting they're buying into false narratives that are being played by some scamsters, etc. So I always ask people to be a little wary and do their own research. But yeah, in general, I believe that the government will be coming up with a bill, and then once I see the bill, I guess I'll have more to say then.
That's amazing. It's really cool. And yeah, since we are speaking on the potential of crypto, um, I think this is an important topic because is what will unfold the potential of crypto that we can talk about now. And actually, this potential is one of the reasons why I am in crypto and the Web3 space, basically. Um, for that, before crypto, I started to do this with like politics, like local politics and stuff, but I came to realize that you cannot change a system with means of that system, like fundamentally. And then I started, and I'm still studying law because I thought, hey, back then I thought, hey, maybe this will change things because you can do good law and stuff, but that's all bullshit, basically. It doesn't work like this. So then I came to the conclusion, okay, we need a disruptor. And I think crypto is this disruptor for the current system because, and I think it's only like in the time frame, it's like within the logic of time because back in the day, we had kings and queens which were put into their position by, or at least self-proclaimed by God afterwards. And this is like the age that we're living in right now, I think. Then we had like big merchants and big companies coming up using workers, like being legitimacy, sorry, my English, but they basically say, okay, we deserve this place because of the work that we are doing for the people. And indeed, workers are being used for it, but still these companies and big merchants are owned by money, by big investors, whatever. And what we will now experience, I think, will be a transition to split competitor merchants, basically DAOs, decentralized autonomous organizations managed by tokens, into and put the ownership into the hands of the workers. And this is truly disrupting in my view. I mean, it has some dystopian vibes on it, which we will talk about later on. But I think it is um, given that one should position themselves accordingly, and we will talk about on how to do that a bit later on. Tarusha,
Yeah, I absolutely agree. What you're saying regarding how crypto kind of positions you better in the way the geopolitical scenario is kind of panning out throughout the world. Because wherever there is concentration of power, right, there is corruption at some point or the other, and crypto and blockchain, they kind of change that. They're dismantling that. Obviously there's going to be some resistance when age old systems are being challenged in some way, if not brought down completely. But I do think that if you need to be in a place where you can have more freedom, you can have the prerogative to do what you need, you want to do with say your money or with your life, with your choices that you make, then yes, you do need to get into this space, get into crypto, and really live on that responsibility regarding your money. And nobody should be able to dictate exactly how you should be using your resources, be it time or money.
exactly. This freedom is one of the reasons why I love this space. You can basically freely decide when and what to work on. And yeah, this is, and I think,
Freedom, and the fact that it's like the second greatest equalizer after the internet, right? It's like there was the internet, and that was like considered as an equalizer, through and through. Even it kind of made the world a smaller place. I think blockchain and crypto is like the second greatest equalizer. Anybody with a smartphone can be a part of this creators economy that is being created. and be a part of this parallel economy that is now, there, as against the traditional financial systems, which kind of discriminate against so many of us by default. Like we are not even, they're kind of excluded by default because they are not really adhering, or they are not meeting up to some prerequisites that have been set. And what a wonderful thing to have such power, to be able to actually, involve yourself in a parallel financial system.
Yeah, you're completely right on that. I can give a first-hand example, because you don't even have to be accepted by a company, like have an interview or anything. One example is this one guy, Psych guy, he is called, and he just joined the BanklessDAO Discord server. And he was like asking around, hey guys, I want to help, what can I do? And he was lucky because one of our paid roles, the talent coordinator, said like, oh, hi dude, welcome. Look, I will be away for the week, and if you can like do these tasks, this would be amazing. And he did, expecting nothing. And afterwards, our talent coordinator came back and saw what he did and was like, amazing. Let me give you my week's salary for it. And he got $600 for like um, going through the Discord, helping people find their way into the DAO without any implications, without, just because he did great work, no prerequisites, no contacts to the family of the company or whatnot. It's just pure, honest work that gets rewarded in a reasonable fashion.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. This is like very eye-opening for somebody who kind of gets introduced to the space. And once they are introduced, I feel that let's take a step back. I think what happens is, essentially, we are taught and conditioned to behave with our money a certain way, or to plan out our life a certain way, right? The examples that are given to us for the education that we do get in schools or in colleges, the organized education that we get, kinds of moves everyone towards being a little spoke in the larger wheel. A lot of innovation and imagination is more or less discouraged in a lot of educational systems, and questioning authority is discouraged. And then when you are perhaps and you're not really given the requisite education for you to be financially literate, or to know exactly how you can perhaps become wealthy, or how you can become financially free. Those are things that are not ever taught to anybody. And then when you kind of you get out of college, and you get a job, and you get a 9 to 5, and then you're like, now what? Only when there are people who are asking, now what, and they are looking to perhaps thrive and not just survive, living paycheck to paycheck. These are the people who would be in a position, right? They would have the privilege to ask, now what? And when they do ask that, and if they do come across like crypto and blockchain, or the parallel economy that is being created, then I do believe that mostly people are left aghast, because they cannot believe that they've been kept out of the loop regarding all of this very precious information. The fact, simple things like your fiat is not really backed by anything. Your currency is just like a piece of paper with a number written on it, and everybody kind of agrees on that value, and that is why you believe that that particular piece of paper has that value. Otherwise, it's not really backed by anything. These are very simple things, but they are still very, very new for a major part of the populace, because they've never been taught all this. And then when they start like unearthing, it's like peeling an onion, right? It's a layer after layer after layer, and you go down this rabbit hole of crypto and blockchain. You will be learning about history of money, you'll be learning about economics, you'll be learning about human psychology, and how people behave when they're kind of given the responsibility and more onus to live their life a particular way. So it's like a rabbit hole. It's a very slippery slope. I believe that anybody who comes in, they have like a hyper growth of learning, and then then there is no looking back. I really have not come across one person who got into the space and then after a while got disillusioned. Like I really have not. Have you?
No, you're exactly right. I have not as well. And I do like this, what you said. So basically, we can summarize that the potential of crypto in one part is to free like the whole humanity from this mindset of being educated towards fulfilling one certain role, that 9 to 5, and instead enabling creative and interested human being, because because you really have um, to think for yourself, see what interests you, and then try to get creative and um, basically contribute to the projects freely. And this is the major difference, I think, and could lead to a real avalanche of mindset changing within the next years.
No,
Okay.
yeah, I completely concur. I think that there is enough for like anybody and everybody. There was, there used to be another a wrong notion that I keep trying to dispel. People used to think that this space is mostly for, people who are geeks and nerds and just developers and engineers. And I like going out and every time saying that like 10 years ago when I started my deep tech journey, 10, actually 12 now, 12 years ago, I'm a humanities student. I came from a background in humanities, and I was a literature student, and I'm a self-taught techie. And now, I call myself more like a generalist than anything. But my point here is that anybody, first of all, it's never too late to start learning. It doesn't matter what your formal education was. And I am like the finest example there. One of the finest, maybe, like because I do believe that I got there. So I think that if I can do it, anybody else can. And secondly, in crypto, that notion that this space is just for engineers is completely incorrect. We need people from all work profiles and skills to come here in this space and be a part of this revolution, because this is like any other sector. You need skill set from across the spectrum. So we need people who are lawyers, people, as Kritika mentioned in the chat here, like doctors, and people who are doing really amazing things. Basically, anybody who has an open mind and is open to learning and have their thoughts, older notions being kind of challenged or dispelled, crypto is the space for you.
Yes. And shall we give some specific introductions on how to get started? Also, after all this, I will give out, because if you're listening to this, you're most certainly interested in being a part of the broader ecosystem. And since the ecosystem runs with people like you, I think you should get opportunities. So if you're listening to this, afterwards, you can find my contact info on the Partnr Twitter, basically under this very live stream, the potential of crypto with Tarusha and Finn. And I commented below, you can direct message me and I will give out guest passes to BanklessDAO so you can get started and basically learn on how vote, learn and experience how it is to work in a DAO like firsthand. Um, so yeah, maybe I can
Wow.
give, yeah.
That is amazing, right? Like, I mean, I think people who are listening in, they should completely jump in this offer.
Yes, I hope so, Tarusha. I hope so. Um, Maybe let me give you guys my half a minute of advice about on how to basically organize yourself to learn more about crypto. And my first suggestion is make a Twitter account. Some of you hear this via Twitter Spaces. This is all right. But if you do this over the other live stream and you do not have a Twitter, please make a Twitter. Go to just search for like Bitcoin, follow the people um, that are active, and basically build quality followers. No, wait, build follow some quality people on crypto. You can find them um, by seeing that they not just say like, yeah, crypto to the moon, or you should definitely buy this coin or that coin, but those that deliver like critical comments. And this is basically how I got all my information, even about some crypto gems. Really try to find these people, just follow everyone at first and then filter by quality throughout the time. Yeah, this would basically be my half a minute first advice on how to get started with crypto. Do you have any like specifics?
No, this is all good advice. Usually when somebody asks me if how do I sort of get started, or how do I start getting into the space, I ask them. The first thing is I go ahead and ask them to the corniest thing in the world, to read the Bitcoin white paper and just take a look and understand the technology. I give the example of some good content creators like Andreas Antonopoulos, and ask these guys to go and like look at some of his YouTube videos, because he really breaks it down in a very good way in some of his older videos. And then once you've kind of absorbed a little bit of content, don't try to like absorb all of it or learn it overnight, because that's not going to happen. I've been in this space for a very long time, and I keep learning something new every day, because the space is just like that. It's just so dynamic that something or the other new is going to come up, and it's really going to sweep you off your feet, and you will have to kind of relearn and unlearn again and again. But just absorb a little bit of content, and then my 2 cents would be just get your hands on some crypto tokens, some cryptocurrency, and perhaps go on a staking platform or like a lending platform, and see what you can do there, and how you can perhaps make not just your money work for you, because you've already kind of bought in some tokens, but how to really make those crypto currencies also work for you by perhaps working on some DeFi protocols. And if this entire financial, all of this jargon is not really your game, then perhaps look at the metaverse and try to be a part of some virtual events. And these are little things, and these are little experiences ultimately that kind of really leave a lasting impact on us, and that will pique your curiosity enough for you to really get into the space and be consistent about it, rather than have this one-off moment where you're like, okay, I want to really explore and I want to see, and then there comes a moment where you will feel very overwhelmed by the sheer volume of the information that is out there, and the number of things that are out there, the number of projects that are out there. To basically cut through that overwhelm, I would say that, okay, try to take it slow, but be consistent. Do something consistently every day. If you want to become like a contributor, as Finn mentioned, you should really find those Discord servers where there is there's usually a very lively community there of devs. And if you're not a coder, then you can contribute to a project even then in your own way. Like if you are somebody who's like a designer, then perhaps you can create like a sticker pack or a meme pack or something like that for upcoming projects that excite you. Or perhaps you can indulge in or collaborate with some sort of an NFT project, or in with some metaverse project that is coming up. My point here, and something that I keep reiterating, is that no matter what your skill set is, if you want to contribute to a certain project, there are multiple ways to do it. And in this space, I have never really come across any founder or anybody who's building in this space to be very offhandish and take that lightly. We are all very grateful for any help that comes our way, and if you really do want to contribute, I'm sure you'll be able to find your niche and really become a contributor, and really take this forward, if you want to, not just in a vocational way, but very professionally as well.
Yes, and definitely second you on the designer part. If you're a designer,
Yeah.
you will be always needed for
Yep,
everything.
always. I think we're
Yeah.
always hiring, right? Like, I'm sorry, like we're always looking for good people to be a part of the team, not just designers, not just coders, people who with great business analyst skills and analytical skills, and perhaps people who can really be savvy marketeers, because ultimately, see, nobody has like a ton of experience with Web3. Web3 marketing is all new, and it's usually people from Web2 who are coming in and who are learning the ropes as they are executing ideas. So don't let this entire space intimidate you, is ultimately what I keep telling people. Nothing, it's not as complicated as it is made out to be. You can always contribute in your own way, and do not let anybody, like, make you think that you perhaps don't have the technical know-how to get into the space, because they couldn't be more wrong.
Yes, and also being a user is um, very efficient these days, because all the other contributors, all the other builders need guys who are experienced enough to actually use their products. You have to have like a MetaMask or a similar Web3 wallet, and you have to know of Web3 services, dApps, decentralized apps, and so on. And usually that's a great way to get involved as well, by simply using these products. Usually I go with AAVE.com, because that's like a simple lend and borrow feature. And for example, their early users, or did they not? I'm not sure, got an airdrop. So this is very, very common that you get airdrops. So basically their token for using it in the past. And if you want to experience, also you will get an idea of what potential this money Lego has, this programmable money, which some call that. And yes, so if you're not going to experience it as a builder from the start, experience the potential of crypto being a user. You will get rewarded greatly. As I said before, if you follow the quality Twitter profiles, these guys will let you know when there ever is a new shiny dApp out there. My example would be Alpha Alert, would be Hop protocol. Hop protocol, you can use this not only on Ethereum, so the transaction fees are very low on Polygon, for example.
Mad,
Um,
yeah. Mad transaction fees.
yes, and do use Hop protocol as a user. Try to hop between the different chains. Again, Hop protocol, like a rabbit hop protocol, and I'm most certain that there will be an airdrop of tokens for you if you use this dApp and experience it firsthand. Yeah, there was another point that I was trying to go with this, but I've sadly forgot about sharing this tip. Yeah, maybe
No,
do
I
you?
think you kind of covered a lot of ground in terms of what people can do who are like looking at the scope, etc. Considering we are here to talk about the scope and how crypto is growing and it's is deemed to grow, it's good for people to see, like, the fact that, as you mentioned, it's programmable money. This is something that actually, if you are facing a problem, then you can build on this and you can actually solve this problem. Because if you are facing it and if your friends are facing it, believe it or not, there are probably a lot of nameless, faceless people around the world who are facing the same problem. Our struggles are pretty much the same, I think, all over. The scope and the kind of level changes. So if you are facing a problem, and the vision here of crypto is to give you programmable money, this is more responsibility in the end user's hands, but also the ability to really drive this new economy in a way that is more user friendly than not. It is about dismantling these centers of power that somehow have the audacity to tell us what to do with our own money. So it's important that that is done, and it's important that we become, instead of just cribbing, we become a part of the solution. So be a part of the solution, contribute to your favorite DAOs, contribute to your favorite projects in some way. And if you have your own good idea, don't be afraid to execute on it, because crypto is here to stay.
Yes, it is here to stay and change ownership as we know it. Ultimately, you say it.
Absolutely.
we don't have people that tell us what to do with our money. Also, there come like responsibility with this, and also not our money, because ultimately we will, and this is the case for NFTs, really, non-fungible tokens. I think on the long term, we will every like physical object you see around in your room will be an NFT, to really so that you really can prove ownership of the stuff that you own. And this self-sovereignty is, I think, a great counteraction on the current decay of the middle class, that is being done by, what do we have right now, 5-6% of inflation per year. So I think crypto can really be not only be a personal life changer, but also could save us a say in the future world and society.
Yeah, I absolutely, concur. I think crypto has a lot of potential to, change a lot of sectors and not just the financial sector. And we are seeing all these use cases being developed in real time. How can this space, to anybody's eyes, not be exciting when, all of this revolution is actually happening right in front of your eyes? Like all of this is getting disrupted right in front of your eyes. It's a super exciting space to be in. And this technology itself is so beautiful that it has the potential to disrupt, not, as I mentioned, not just the financial sector, but so many other sectors as well.
Exactly. Again, a reminder that you can always, if you view this either on the Creator Club live stream or on the Twitter live stream, always feel free to just ask questions. We will see them, hopefully. If not, I think we will get pinged, and we'll answer them. So yeah, basically, I think that in line with everything that we've said until now, that we will be able to disrupt these, let me say, like artificial governance structures. Like first kings by the gods, like implemented by God, then the big merchants and companies that are owned by money, and now we progress towards a globally way fairer way of ownership, by giving the ownership about these big companies into the hands of the workers that work there, which is just, yeah, again, completely like a natural thing in my view. And I don't think that once we are on Mars with Elon, everyone, once we're on Mars with Elon, I don't think that we will have like any of these artificial governance structures left, but really just the people that add value to the system, that add value to society, will have the most say. And it's essential to position yourself correctly so you can and really give like generational wealth to your family and community, and have a say about the future of your own future and the future of your children, hopefully. Yeah. Okay. I think we have like 10 minutes left. Kriti, if you hear this, do we have some questions? Oh yeah, I see one question: how to choose the right assets to invest in. Tarusha, do you have any like immediate ideas, or should I start?
Sure. So, yeah, I'd like to pitch in, like, this is the usual again. The right assets is with whether it be crypto or otherwise. I think that, with any kind of an investment that you're doing, but if you're putting your money where your mouth is, and you're really putting in your hard-earned money in these different asset classes, then you should be doing enough research. You should understand them at a very basic level, perhaps, that okay, how do the markets that are associated with that asset, how do they work? All markets are cyclical in nature, but having a basic understanding, and I think, is very, very important. Having said that, how do you perhaps, if I take it on a more micro and crypto facing way, that how do you choose perhaps a crypto token? I would say that if you are putting in your money in any kind of a token, then you should definitely check out what their vision is, what is the utility of the underlying token that you're putting in money in, what does the team look like what have they done so far, and what does the product look like currently, who are the promoters, who are the stakeholders of this particular project. All those are good identifiers for relatively new projects. For projects that are already, like, perhaps listed in several places, then a good way to identify them would be about the ones that I've mentioned above, and also checking their market cap and their daily trading volume, and then perhaps choosing to sort of invest in them. So you have to do your due diligence. You do your due diligence when you're buying like a property, right? Like a physical, some real estate, or if you're buying like a car, even though a car is a depreciating asset, but with any asset, you kind of do your research. So should be the case with crypto. If you're going to be putting in money in any kind of a token, you should do your basic due diligence. You should not really just go with FOMO or just following the influencer, and that is the quickest way to lose your money. So just do your research, and it doesn't have to be very extensive, but just have a basic checklist in mind that, okay, this is what the team is doing, this is the vision, etc. And I believe that you would be okay. As always with any investment, I think there is a disclaimer that you need to sort of put in the money that you can afford to lose. Don't borrow to do crypto trading. That is again very basic financial 101. So I think those would be good ways to decide on which is the next crypto token in which you want to put in your money.
Yes, I can only, I think you already said it. I can only specify maybe a bit. I personally always, or my first due diligence was really just going on coingecko.com, the list with all the tokens, where all the tokens are listed in order of the market cap. And I really went through it from one Bitcoin to, I think, like really just skipping and seeing whichever, like, I think it was even which name interested me. But then I clicked on it and saw like in what branch there are. Some maybe are chains, some maybe tokenized stuff for real world companies. And I really just try to understand, first of all, what all these tokens were about, and if it's a space that interests me personally. I think that's very important because at some point you will find projects that do interest you and you want to have a bigger stake in. So what I can most certainly tell you that you will sell the other tokens that do not interest you that much to get more say in the projects that you really understand, believe in, and would like to be included more in. Yeah. Also, don't. Yeah. As Tarusha said, don't buy tokens just because some big influencers told you about. Most likely, you will be their exit liquidity, so to speak. Yes. Okay, let me check some more. I see what's yield farming, but to be honest, I think since this is like on the potential of crypto, and yield farming is like one aspect of tokenized governance or incentivized, is an incentivized part of that. I will try to find a good written information about this, because we could rabble on for another hour about what it is really, and I will just share it. We'll just share it in the chats on Twitter, also on Creator Club, if that's okay with you guys.
Sure. So maybe I can pitch in here for the yield farming bit. As you kind of covered, yield farming is basically a way to incentivize users to hold on to the tokens that they are kind of purchasing. rather than dumping them or selling them, and kind of creating additional liquidity burden on the tokens, on the projects, basically creating a sell pressure on these projects. So I would take the example of UniFarm, which is like my project. UniFarm offers yield farming.
Oh yes,
What
please,
we
please.
Yeah. So UniFarm essentially, offers a group farming, and basically it's a group farming and staking protocol. So essentially, we bring together like 5 or 6 good DeFi projects, and we've had like the likes of Polygon, Mantra DAO, Happy, and Razor, all of these good oracles, etc. Basically, good projects. They come together, they farm, create a cohort or a group or a farm, and then the end user, once that farm goes live, they are able to stake any of these tokens, and they are able to get like a diversified yield in the form of the other tokens as well. So say you are in farm A that has Matic, Centaur, Oro, UFarm, and then you are perhaps taking just Centaur, for example. Then you will be staking and earning a yield of Centaur for just the first week. Then from the second week, that is when the magic kind of begins, and you will be earning not just Centaur, but you will be earning Oro as well. And then but in the third week it'll be Magic, and then so on. So essentially, we kind of diversify the yield that you get via basic yield farming. Generally, yield farming is done in pairs. So you stake a token, and you earn either the same token in a yield or an interest, or you get like a stable coin. So on UniFarm, we kind of play around with it, and we've diversified it. So that is the macro concept of yield farming. The usual analogy that I give when I try to explain yield farming to anybody is think of it like putting in like a fixed deposit or like a recurring deposit in your bank. Some banks have that feature, basically that scheme where you give in money and at a set interval, and or you have like a lump sum of money, and then you kind of put it in the bank, and they give you like a higher interest rate, so as to increase the amount of money that you're kind of accumulating with that interest rate. So when you're thinking of yield farming, think of those schemes like in the bank, that basically even though we don't really like banks so much, but I like giving this example because it makes it easier for people to understand that you have this lump sum of money, and you are actually locking it, or you're promising not to really spend it, and in the case of tokens you are basically promising not to sell it, and then you get like an interest in the form of like more money. Here in the case of tokens, you get more tokens, or you can get stable coins as well. That is like a broad analogy that I give for yield farming. Obviously, read the fine print when it comes to yield farming as well. Like UniFarm offers principal protection, 100% principal protection is there. There are certain platforms where that might not be the case, especially if you're going and moving towards liquidity farming. Then obviously principal protection does not exist there. So if you're going to be indulging in any kind of farming, then you should know what kind of farming you're kind of getting into, read the fine print before you get into it. And if you are not comfortable with the idea of losing your principal, then perhaps do not indulge in the riskier ones, would be my take here.
Yes, awesome. Okay, and I think we're on the hour. I think we can summarize that we found out that crypto has the potential to lead towards a mindset shift away from this being educated to do like a specific task, 9 to 5, to a more freedom-loving approach, so to speak, a more creative one, where you can shape things that interest you. Also about ownership, both in like company stakes as well as just simple physical objects with NFTs and so on. And yeah, I think the only dystopian version of the future really is if you are not sufficiently placed for this new world to emerge, because you will most certainly won't have a head start like others have had. And so I think it's best to really get involved now.
Absolutely, I completely concur with you. I would like to paint a little picture here for you that please understand that the way the world and the pace at which this blockchain and crypto sector is moving, in a few years' time, the car that you buy, the house that you purchase, all of these would be NFTs. And you would there would be a parallel economy if it would not have overtaken the traditional economy. It would still exist and be posing a serious challenge to the traditional economy, where users would be the end user, and the retail investors would be deciding on the work timings now, especially with the COVID push. Everything is remote. The number of hours they're putting in, what kind of currency they're getting paid in, and what are the kind of investments they are making. They will have full prerogative of all of these things to live out a life which is basically a life that is lived to its full potential. At least that is what ultimately, I think, that is what all of us want, to be able to strive in this world and to live out our dreams. And when you kind of break free from this cycle of just sort of living in the box and not sort of questioning authority, and not questioning the status quo, then that kind of makes it hard, right? It's not possible to really break out of the box if you're going to be living like that. But crypto, blockchain, decentralization, they give you an opportunity to just move beyond these notions and live out your best life. At least you can be on the path to living out your best potential, or your ability to live up to your potential. So I would strongly recommend, even though now I sound like a cult leader trying to ask people to join my cult, but I would strongly recommend that if you've not really gotten into crypto in some way, or blockchain in some way, now is the time. Please get into it. You will regret it later. And obviously, do your own research. This is not financial advice. But having said that, you owe it to yourself, you owe it to your future. As Finn keeps saying, to create generational wealth, you owe it to your, a future generation to really delve into this space.
Thanks for putting it across so beautifully, Tarusha. I'm pretty sure, like, I wouldn't find a better way to say it for sure. I have just one question from a more, I think, a naive person point of view. Today, not a lot of people understand the effect of compounding from a wealth management point of view, just like generating wealth point of view. And now we're learning about like personal finances and things like that, even managing personal finances and things like that. So from here, for people to really understand crypto and move forward and understand the potential of crypto in terms of wealth generation itself, how feasible is it, and how long do you think it will take for I think the genetic climate to adopt to moving towards this side and also understanding the potential?
See, I think that compounding is like, as it has been said already, it's like the eighth wonder of the world, right? If you want to understand compounding, you can just look at you can just Google magic of compounding, and there would be like so many PDFs that will show you numbers that ultimately it's not about a lump sum amount. It's about just being consistent even with a small amount. It's about being consistent. It's about starting early. And even if you don't start early, actually, don't feel bad. As long as you're consistent, the magic and impact of compounding is such that it really, really adds up. So there is actually, I think, a beautiful book about this. It's one is The Compound Effect, and that is a great book. There's also, I think, Daily Millionaire. I think that book, or Everyday Millionaire, I'm not entirely, I think I'm forgetting. It's completely whooshed out of my head the name of the book, but basically that particular book talks about how, if you're not really spending that $1 or $2 or $5 on your daily Starbucks coffee, you are able to really create a certain lump sum amount, which looks so much bigger when you're looking at a macro level. When otherwise people usually will sort of shrug their shoulders and ask, what is $5 going to do? But that is where the magic of compounding really hits you, that it's not really about this large amount of money. It's about just being consistent with what you're doing, being disciplined with that. And that just if you could do that, like with crypto or with any other investment that you do believe in, if you think crypto is too risky for you, then it's just about consistency. If you're, say, buying gold, or if you're, say, I don't know, whatever other investment class, your asset class that, you believe in, you're getting into that, then consistency is key. And that is something that I say a lot. I really hate it when financial advisors tell their, customers and their clients that, okay, you need to have an X amount of money to get started. That's bullshit. I don't believe in that. And I totally think that, you can start with what you have and start when you can. And the time to start is now. And with what you have, the smallest amount, it doesn't matter. Just be consistent with it and you will be on your path to wealth creation.
Yes, and also I think this is in line with what I hope my closing statement to be, that not only for the wealth creation, as Tarusha said, but also, of course, and also, but also with the contributions and being a contributor, like we mentioned before, is and holds true is the following. And I love to say that, to be honest, so I will say it now. This is not a sprint, but this is also not a marathon. This is a force of nature, and be part of it. It will come, and I think it will blow a lot of people away, and in the best sense, in the best sense. And yeah, if you guys have any questions, like really any questions whatsoever about anything that I said in the last hour and 15 around, feel free to actually hop into my direct messages. I'm more than happy to really go into every little detail and every little question that might have occurred throughout the last hour. Yeah, thank you so much. I'm actually going to prepare a meeting now that I will have in 20 minutes for a DAO. And thank you so much, Tarusha. Thank you so much, Kriti.
Thank you so
Everyone
much, Finn.
Thanks
behind
a lot,
lovely.
Finn and Tarusha,
Yes.
for making the time. I thoroughly enjoyed the conversation, and I hope everyone else did too. This was super fun. So just a plug-in. If you viewed the event, please go and comment on one takeaway either on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, or YouTube, and you can claim a customized NFT. So like which proves your attendance of for attending the event. But cheers,
Oh,
thank
that's so
you.
cool.
And I think Finn
That's
and Tarusha
amazing.
are automatically getting it. So
Lovely. I'm looking forward to my NFT. And as Finn said, in case anybody has any questions, please feel free to DM me on Twitter. I'm happy to hold your hand and help you out in any way that I can.
awesome. And I'd also like comment on like both Tarusha's and Finn's profile in the where we live stream, so it's easy for you all to access. But yeah, have a great evening if you're in India, and like have a great rest of the day wherever you are. And thanks a lot for tuning in.
Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so much. All right,
Thanks.
see you guys.
Bye. Take care.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.